Hello, I'm Marc Sumner, host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and today I have Lucy Greenaway, the Channel Marketing Director for XM Cyber, in the studio. How are we doing, Lucy?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you very much for coming in. Now, Lucy, I was actually thinking, I actually said to Anthony before I actually did the show today, I think you're the first Channel Marketing Director we've had in the studio. So for the listeners out there that don't really know what that job is or what it entails, just give us a bit of an overview of what you do.
Yeah, sure. And I'm very thankful to be the first Channel Marketing Director. We are a support function to the channel team in part of a business, right? I work really, really closely with all of our channel account managers across the business globally, and working with them to help build and grow the business with our focus partners in each region. So whether that be business development, supporting with new training ideas and building communities, we're looking at building our technical community out right now. So how do we get all of the SEs within our partners trained on XM Cyber better? And yes, it's how we go to market through our partners. It's really, really supporting that core channel function. We're kind of an integral part of the team for each other, and that's how we roll.
And take me back to your first journey. So why did you actually go into marketing?
I actually really wanted to be a judge. You know,
Stop!
No, yeah.
What are you talking? What?
with you know, the wig on in a courtroom,
No way.
like hammer. Yeah, that's where I wanted to be. And then I learned you had to do 7 years at law school, and flipped out of that. So I did business studies at college, and then I specialised in marketing for my second year, actually in digital, which is funny because I completely pivoted away from that. But I think it's because I'm such a people person. Like, I need to be with people all the time. I thrive off other people's energy. So the field marketing and channel, which is so about people and how you're going to connect with people and work with them, it completely took over, and I quickly pivoted.
What made you want to be a judge, though? What made you?
I don't know. I think it's just because I'm opinionated, and I just like to be like, I'm right, you're wrong. Throw the hammer down, and that be done. It's how life would have been if that was the route I took. I don't know.
When I looked through your background, I noticed that you'd obviously worked for a distributor, you worked for a MSP or a service provider company many years ago. You're obviously working with vendors now. I wanted to talk to you about and give the listeners a bit of an overview. What is the main differences between working for a service provider, a vendor, and a distributor?
Yeah, I guess the main difference is the audience. So, at an MSP provider, you're selling your own services to your customers, right? So it's a very different way that you're messaging and how you're communicating. It's in the channel role, right? Corporate marketing, it's the same. You're selling your product. But for channel roles, MSP, I'm going straight to the customer, how I'm doing our services. Distributor, obviously there was multiple different vendors, right? You have to, and I loved my role at the distributor because I learned the IT channel, cybersecurity channel like this. And I'm so fortunate. The people you meet, the tech you learn about is really, really cool. So there you're having to learn different messages and how to push that through partners on a wider scale. And then Vendorland now, obviously I'm pushing our product and what we do, but it's through my audience is our partners. I'm going, how do I make our product attractive for our partners and fit into what they currently do, right? Because, it needs to fit into the partner's ecosystem. How does XM attach on nicely and give them a good story and show them as a value-added partner, right? Advising the next piece of technology to sell to their customers. So that's a real big part of how I market and the content that we build to them. And then again, you do build the end user campaigns for partners to run as well. So there is that element to it. But yeah, I guess the audience is the main thing, and how you put a spin on corporate marketing changes at each dynamic.
And having that varied background across the channel, how has that helped you today in your current role? Has it helped?
It has helped. I do believe it's helped. And I think because of understanding your audience, right? Not one size does not fit all. And that's a really reoccurring thing that I see in the market of anything that I listen to right now. One size fits all is gone. You can't do it. Personalisation in marketing is through the roof, especially with things like AI. So you need to be able to understand your audience to shape what you've got, right? We might have a solution brief from a vendor, right? That means nothing to a channel partner. and it means something different to an end user. So you really need to tweak what you have to who you're serving it to. And if you don't understand what's important to them, how can you do that? How can you? I couldn't write something for the Prime Minister that would be interesting to him, because I don't understand him as an audience. But give me a salesperson at a partner and I might be able to tweak a battle card that makes them understand my tech a little bit better, because I've been on both sides of the fence.
Talking of salespeople, Lucy, I'm constantly hearing about people in the channel, marketing partners in the channel, trying to align with sales, i.e. sales are looking at marketing saying they're not doing anything, or they're doing events, they're going off in one direction, and then marketing are looking at sales thinking you're not understanding what we're doing and you're not following up on leads, etc. How do we align sales and marketing in the channel?
The age-old question. Every conference I go to, there is a whole panel or a whole talk around how to get this alignment. I am so fortunate that XM, the alignment is so there, right? But I think that is because we're so aligned on what our ICP is. If you don't know what your ICP is, and you don't know who your target accounts are that you're going after, it all falls flat from there, in my opinion. We all need to be rowing in the same direction to what accounts we're going after. And then the channel team will work out what partner is best aligned to those end customers that we want to get to, right? There's no point going after the finance vertical, but working with a partner that specializes in retail. Like that's the immediate disalignment. So anything marketing do isn't going to resonate, because you've got completely no alignment at that front point. So I'm really, really fortunate with our channel team that we have at XM, because we have our weekly syncs. I know the partners. We talk about what does the partner want? Where are they focusing on? And how do we fit into that? And it's all those conversations where I really need to understand their business in order to go, okay, we've got this piece of content that's a really good idea, or we've got this industry event. Let's take this partner with us because of the value that they add and the value it's going to bring them. But the alignment comes from communication and a really deep understanding of everybody's end goal. And I think that it all stems from that. You mentioned
you said the ICP. What, for the listeners out there, what would that be, and what is that?
Yeah, that's our ideal customer profile.
Okay.
Yeah. So what does our customer look like? What size are they? Who's the persona that we're going after? Is that
a marketing thing, ICP? Because when I was thinking, I don't even know that myself. What is that?
Is it a marketing thing? I don't know. I think it's a term that we use at XM Cyber, just to work out what our ideal customer looks like, right? Who do we want to win? Who do we serve best? Our technology is really great for complex environments, right? So we want to, there's no point us going to a really small environment because the tech might not show its worth. So it's identifying what good looks like for us, and where does that match with a partner that has customers that matches that good.
I see. Talking of trends in the market, you mentioned they're going events, educating partners, etc. What are the trends that you're foreseeing in purely cyber marketing that you might see in the next sort of maybe 2 years?
Yeah, I think there's loads. I think obviously we'll probably talk about how AI is coming into things and affecting everything that's going on, but personalisation in what we do is massive, right? The one size spray and pray term that we used to use just isn't cutting it. And I think specifically in channel marketing, we use the term campaigns in a box all the time, which is like ready to go assets in our partner portal that partners can take. And they definitely serve their place. But in situations where I have been, where you're trying to prove your worth, or you might not have the biggest revenue or the most leads coming in to feed your partners, the trend that I'm seeing is that it's so competitive now to get partners' attention. And if you can't do that by giving revenue and leads, you need to give that by creativity. How are we going to get partners' attention that aligns with what they're doing and makes life easy for them? They've got how many vendors speaking to them every day of the week? Why are you going to work with XM Cyber to do marketing for us over somebody else? Creativity in what you're doing, the personalisation that matches what the partner wants to get out of it. And that all comes back to that sales and marketing alignment. Like, I could be as creative as I wanted, but if it doesn't match to the business need of the partner, then you're not going to get anywhere.
You mentioned there that partners are obviously getting approached by vendors all the time about marketing campaigns. How do you stand out from other security partners, other security vendors out there, and get them to align with what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
It's really hard, and firstly you've got to have a great channel team, right? There's only so much as marketing that we can do, but we need to have great relationships. But again, I think actually it comes a little bit into marketing internally as a vendor, right? I have a really good relationship with our head of field marketing. So when she sees a finance conference come up, or we're going to a big trade event, she'll always come to us and go, have we got any partners that might benefit or might be able to work with us on this? And so that actual alignment between field and partner can be really beneficial, because I can then go to our CAMs and our partner community and be like, hey, we're going to this finance conference, but do you want to join us? Do you want to come with us? And for them, it's like it's us proactively thinking of them, which I think comes quite nicely into it as well. But it's not just us asking of them all the time. Can you introduce us to your customers? Are you doing something that we can sponsor? It's actually us taking initiative and going, let's take the load off you. Come and join us at this. Help us with the event and follow up with the leads, and we'll work together on the outcome. So I think it's the give and take between us and the partners.
Does that work? Does that work? Does that make you stand out?
I think it has. I think we've built really good relationships off bringing partners to events with us. You know, we have loads of things going on at the moment with across EMEA and globally, where we're going to trade shows with partners, and then we're doing like a webinar follow up with them to keep things going of subject matter experts. So we're trying to take the load off the partner and stop asking of them, and coming up with what we think works or what we've seen work already, right? And I think that's really important as well, because some of these partners, you get one shot to get it right. And if you get it wrong, it's going to be really hard to go back in and ask them to do something again. So we're really fortunate that we've done lots of things, and we know what's works, and we've got really good subject matter experts within the company to put on these events and show them how it can work with XM moving forward. So yeah, I think the campaign creation and the being proactive is really important for us.
So Lucy, if I was going to talk generally across the channel, and just your opinion on this, if a marketeer in the channel was looking to create an effective marketing campaign to generate leads, everyone wants leads, they all want leads for all the salespeople, but they've got a limited budget.
Yeah.
What would you suggest is the easiest way to get something started?
This is where my approach would be small, narrow, focused and targeted. Like, let's go deep in. Where's our area of expertise? Where have we got customer reference use cases that talk about the real compelling incident as to why somebody bought your product? And hone in on that. Let's talk specifics. Who was the persona that was involved in that buying journey as well? Then, you know, if it's a field marketing campaign, you can go to market from that. But my next step would then be go into my channel account manager, and going, right, which partner has customers in this vertical that have got good relationships with this type of person within that end customer. Let's go and do a real personalised event. And I don't want to say the words a CISO roundtable dinner, because I say those words a lot of times in a day, and they're such a popular activity to do, right? But maybe we go and do like pasta making or gin making, or like go and do some cool event where the partner gets to host their customer, right, and doing something different that isn't just going for dinner, and we get a chance to meet that right person and potentially bring in one of our customers to talk about this experience and journey, like a retail customer CISO to retail customer CISOs. It's hard when you go to the entertainment side and bringing people in a room, because you add the budget element into it, that, right? But the principles to get to that point are always going to be the same. Go really targeted, go on your compelling incident, and where you can really talk about it, right? Like, if you came to me and sent me an email and was going, I can help you with your marketing campaign, I'm probably not going to open it. But if you come to me and tell me that you've got a 5-step approach to build to improving a partner experience, or something around that was super specific to what I do as my job, I'm probably going to open it. And that's the same with when we talk into end users and customers. Like, let's be really specific. Everybody is so flooded with generic campaigns and stuff that goes through. I mean, how many emails do you get a day of just people trying to like sell you something or introduce you to something? You've got to find a way to stand out from the crowd. And I solely believe that it's got to be really hyper targeted in order to do that.
The next question that everyone asks when we talk about marketing, how do we get a return on investment on marketing? So do you get challenged with that all the time about, Lucy, you're doing this, you're doing that, how do we get a return on it? Is that a problem?
I think marketing in general, you can know how to get a return on investment. Digital, you've got your key metrics. Field, you've got your key metrics that you can do. Channel marketing, there is a massive taboo around ROI on it. And I think if somebody had it bottled up, they'd be a millionaire, right? It's so hard. GDPR makes it harder because of lead sharing and things you do. You're right. I've got a webinar. We ran it last week. My partner hosted it. I don't get a copy of the leads as such because it's their privacy policy. So internally, they're going, well, you've told me we had, X amount of people turn up. Who were they? What are we doing? How's the lead follow-up going? I can only tell you what the partner tells me, right? So that's a really, really tough thing to try and say what the ROI is of that event. I look at it and go, wow, one of our partners has hosted a webinar and spent the time to drive, recruit, host, and follow up about our product. That to me is massive ROI. That's a huge commitment for a partner to make.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, it's not telling me how many leads we've got in the system, what stage it's at, blah, blah, blah. It's not a deal reg. But that's a huge ROI. And I think partner engagement needs to come into what ROI looks like for channel marketing. How many people do we have trained? How many sales trains, tech training? How much time are they giving us? Obviously, you've got the key stuff, indicators around deal registrations that come through the portal. Obviously, that's the main one that kind of directly impacts revenue, which we're all looking for. And, every time we do an event with a partner, I'll always sit down and we go, how many deal registers do we think, or leads do we think we can get off the back of doing this activity? If we're going to an event, how many leads can we scan, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that's the same for all marketing. But channel marketing, I think we have to look at engagement indicators with our partners. Yeah. And how much time they're giving us. That for me is for ROI. And I think it's our jobs to just be really good at communicating that, right? I don't expect, everybody's good at their own things. I don't know how to do recruitment, right? But you could sit here and tell me what good recruitment looks like and what a successful year looks like for you. And I need to be able to do that to back to the business around channel marketing and what good engagement looks like. So,
Lucy, do you ever have it where it's very difficult to measure? You haven't got deal registers, you haven't got leads or whatever, but it's enhanced the brand, it's enhanced the awareness, it's enhanced the relationships with the partner, which you can't measure. Yeah. Do you ever sort of have to sort of justify that? Because I'm almost thinking out there, there's companies that their brand's gone bang, but they can't really measure it, that it's come back to X lead or X deal, etc. Do you have that?
Yeah, we have that all the time. If the guys are going out and doing sales enablement at a partner, right? And then they do the sales enablement, they come away and we see 3 deal registers come in next week. Can you attribute that to the sales training? Yeah, you can. They've been trained, they've done deal registers. But I haven't got a Salesforce campaign there to say where it's come from. And that's also the issue, right? Deal registers are coming through our partner portal. And if I don't already have them in Salesforce, it just shows as a deal registration. There's no tracking to where it's been come from before. So that's where getting lead lists and stuff really help, because you can look at that attribution model of where it's come from. It's really hard to prove anything without data. And data is the one thing that's getting tougher and tougher to work with all of the compliances that we have, right? So there is an element of manual work that we have to do. I sit down with the cams and we go, right, okay, these are the customers that we called out with on a call out day. The partner isn't going to give me their data from the call out day of who they're calling on. We're only going to see the results of that when they put that deal reg in. But we might have spent X amount on the call out day. We've gone there, we've made a fuss about it, we've made new call scripts, all of this. Then we start seeing deal registers come in. But from a top-down board level, there's no attribution to it coming from that call-out day. It's just deal registers coming from that partner. And that's hard to link. That is hard.
Do you find that difficult as a marketing person, where you're thinking, I've created that awareness, it's a tenuous link, but it probably did come through that, but I'm not getting the credit?
I'm very fortunate that the overall success of the channel is my success, right? We are one team, and we don't function without each other. And I think that's a common theme throughout all the channel, and probably a reason why I loved it so much, like we touched on earlier, just because it does feel like a really team unite within the channel. Anywhere I've been, it's such a close-knit community. But it is tough, right? Because you go, oh, well, we got no opportunities from that campaign. And I'm like, oh, well, we didn't, but we also did XYZ with that partner this year, and actually they've grown 30% on what they did with us last year. So all of it has had an overall impact.
It's contributed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's all contributed to each other. And, you know, you can do display ads and PR and campaigns and stuff. And those teams will have a similar challenge because how do you report revenue impact on display ad campaigns? Like, it's really hard. So there's a lot of different teams that suffer with the same issue. And like I said, I think if you had the answer, you'd be very rich. I'm still looking.
Lucy, you advocate for marketeers to act, I'm going to use this term, I've never heard of this term, creative catalysts. How do you encourage non-marketing teams, like sales, like product, like finance, like whoever, basically, to contribute to marketing?
Yeah, I love this. I think I did a LinkedIn post on this. I absolutely believe marketing's a team game. And I absolutely believe that our local teams will know more than me about what works in their regions. They are the experts. Like, I'm me in the middle, and I might know a good way to go around getting things and kind of some creative ideas and twists to put on things. But my local teams will know what works in their regions and what's cool things to do, or something that's resonating, or something that's hitting the news, or anything like that. So I'm such a supporter in my sales teams, or any teams coming and going, hey, have we thought about this? Have we done this? Or this event looks great, or these people are really influential in my country and they're going to this event. We should go. We should try something. Yeah, we should. They absolutely know their craft, and I believe that there should be a voice at the table for all teams to have an input into what is done from a marketing perspective. Obviously, there's kind of things, corporate guidelines and things that we have to abide with, but it's not a solo sport, marketing, and there's so many different angles you can take to it that it's important everybody has a voice.
With that voice, do you take feedback from local people in the area or the region, or maybe in different departments? They think, oh, actually, I think this would be a great idea, Lucy. You must be getting feedback all the time, thinking what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, I say everybody needs to have a voice because I think it's really important, because you never know when the next good idea is going to come. Yes, it can get messy when you have too many people involved, like anything. You know, there needs to be a rule of thumb of like, right, who makes the decisions, which should obviously be with marketing as we execute the campaign, right? But yeah, feedback, you get good and bad feedback to everything that you do. But I think as long as the business interests are at the forefront of it, and it's making real business impact, that's the key indicator that you've got to align by.
The hottest topic in 2025, especially in the series that we've done recently, is the adoption of AI. How do you think this is going to impact marketing? AI in marketing?
As some people I've worked with previously will probably laugh when I say this, but if I can sniff AI in an email, I really lose my temper.
Deleted!
Yeah, I've been sent some things over the last year or two, and I'll look at it and I'll read the first sentence, and it will use some really big word that you would not use in a normal conversation, and I can't read any more of it because it's come straight out of one of the providers. But I also massively see a use for it, right? If it's used correctly. I don't personally use a lot of AI in my work right now. I can see the benefits on can you change this or edit this or like word this a little bit better for me? I can see the use points of that, and I've definitely used that to like craft some quick like webinar emails together from an abstract that we've written, right? Because it's been written by a human, and then the words are trying to changed into a different format. So I've definitely seen that, and I definitely think the usage can grow, but I still can't escape from the words that get put in there that just normal people don't use. And I think we have to remember that we're selling to humans. And I think people forget that sometimes. Like, even though it's B2B, you're still selling to a human at the end of the day that has a normal life and has breakfast, lunch and dinner and has a family. And all these like fancy jargon words that come out of it kind of remind me back of the day where we would play like jargon bingo when you walk around a trade show booth of like all the different terms that vendors would use to describe themselves. And, I'm guilty of it. Like, you'd write something and it's like seismic shifts and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, we don't, people don't talk like that. Doesn't make sense. So I don't want that to happen with the content creation side of marketing, because I think there's so many talented product marketing people out there. And that shouldn't be diminished with tools like AI. But there's so much of a need for it. Like, there's so many cool things you're doing with it. And I think, even on the health side with AI and the stuff it advances outside of our industry, like it's so cool. But yeah, I'm skeptical.
Does that sort of loop back to what you said earlier about the personalisation? That do you believe that's key? It's personalised messaging to companies that are specific.
Yeah.
Which is longer though, isn't it? It's harder work.
It's longer and it's harder, but I think if you want really good results, you have to work really hard. It doesn't come easy. Like, if it was easy, we'd all have the big Bob jobs up here somewhere doing it. And I think we need to give us humans a little bit of credit for what we've done to get to where we are. And AIs can't replace what everybody's doing. But it can definitely enhance us and make us more productive and save us some time. Yeah, definitely. But I'm a real personalisation person, and I think that's my blocker, I think.
Talking of big jobs that you mentioned, I saw online that you won the Future B2B CMO Award. So well done for that.
Thank you.
What does that recognition mean to you, and how important is it for you to, or anyone, to win Future CMO Awards or CRN Awards, etc., in shaping careers? How important is it?
Do I think awards are be all and end all? No. Like, there's so many talented people out there that are too shy to put themselves forward or entertain being nominated for something, right? So we have to remember how big the market is. But I must say, I was so honoured to get that award. There is some really, really smart, intelligent people on that list. And I was very fortunate enough to kind of go to that event. It was at Abbey Road Studios. The team are amazing. Like, it's such a lovely, rewarding feeling, because you do work really hard. And like the IT channel is full of so many talented people, and it's hard to make your way through and get attention or be seen. So I'm really proud of myself for it. And I think it's really important that we take a step back and look at everything that we've achieved. We all work at such a fast pace. The technology industry is evolving quicker than any other, right? Even the new products that come out and everything. So we work really hard. It's really important to recognise yourself and give yourself a pat on the back. It's lovely to be recognised. But there's so much more still to come. Talking
of more to come, you started as a marketing assistant in your first job.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to take you back to that. What advice would you give to aspiring marketeers who, first job, second job, who are entering the tech industry? How do they start moving up the ladder?
It's probably said a lot on this chat, but relationships. Like, people that I know have helped me so much. I have a network of people around me that have mentored me, guided me, and taken chances on me. When I was that marketing assistant, my first role then into distribution, I was massively lucky to get that role, which then propelled me into kind of where I am today and into the cybersecurity space. So learn, be a sponge. And one of my favourite sayings is, I'd rather be the dumbest person in the room than the most intelligent, because I'm the one getting the most out of it. I'm the one being the sponge and learning everything off all these people that have done way more than me, seen more than me, failed and learnt from it, and then gone and won. All of those things you have to take on, learn, and go and put into practice in your own career. So yeah, I'm just very fortunate that I came across some really, really great people that helped me.
My last question, Lucy, and I don't want you to sit on the fence, and I don't want you to say XM Cyber. In 2025, what is the one company, and it could be a reseller, distributor, vendor, whatever, the one company, the one to watch that you think will do well in 2025, and not XM Cyber?
Oh, goodness. I think with the explosion of SaaS, I think the SaaS security market is the one to watch. I think we see that because I understand with XM Cyber, it's all of your environments, your on-premise and your cloud, right? But attached to that is your SaaS. And when you see the numbers that come out from Gartner around kind of the spend of that increasing year on year, and it's surpassed what they'd said. So anything SaaS security, I think, is going to be the one to watch.
What about a specific company? Is there one company you'd name you think, well, they'll do quite well this year?
I don't know if I...
Come on! Maybe a partner, one of your partners you think will do quite well.
Oh, that's quite big. I mean, my partner works at a SaaS security vendor. So I would like to say his, because that...
And who's that?
AppOmni, yeah. I would like to say that because they are in that SaaS security space. So I'm really lucky because I get to see an adjacent industry working really well. And the reason I say that, not just because my partner works there, but CTEM is a huge thing that's just come out of Gartner, continuous threat exposure management. And that is all around scoping and identifying and monitoring all of your vulnerabilities and your threat landscape. And they do that for the SaaS apps, which is adjacent to what XM does. So if they do well, we do well.
Lucy, you've been a great guest. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries. Thank you for having me.